These are facts. This is the problem. It needs to be clear. Pardon me. Common traps and mistakes. Here are the common traps and mistakes in our culture. Artists, please pay attention. Take a screenshot. Assuming payments equal ownership. Assuming performance equals ownership. Oops. Assuming performance equals ownership. Assuming friendship replaces paperwork. Friendship never replaces paperwork, okay? Even married people have to sign documents. What's wrong with you? Uploading through someone else's account. Signing for hire, work for hire, without understanding it. You're signing a work for hire, you don't even understand what you're signing. Right? Don't be so glad to get the deal. You don't know what you're signing. Sometimes you're better off without it. Okay? Uploading through someone else's account. Don't do that. Okay? Let me add him to the stage. Right?
Don't know what happened a while ago.
That's okay there. That's okay. You wanted to say something or you want me to should I continue?
No, no, I was listening, but
Okay.
everything just went blank.
Okay. Okay. Well, mute for a second then, please. If you until you're ready. Okay, when you're ready to come on, if you come off. So come on, traps and mistakes. Assuming payments equal ownership, it doesn't. Assuming your performance equals ownership, it does not. Assuming friendship replaces paperwork, it does not. Uploading through someone else's account, why would you do that? Signing work for hire without understanding it. Not clarifying publishing splits, you need to do this. Not clarifying producer royalties, you need to do that. Not asking who owns final files, you need to do this. Releasing music on borrowed beats, that cannot happen. Borrowed beats, what is that? So you're building your house on sand. There's no foundation there. Don't let me see you do that. Not with your talent, eh? Ignoring sync rights. Okay, fine. Do that and get sued. Thinking ownership alone equals success. It does not. You can own a whole heap of nothing. You need value for what you own. I rather own one valuable thing than 1,000 things that have to add up to the one. That's a lot of clutter. That's a lot of shit. Excuse my language. Excuse my language. The main lesson: most music disputes are not caused by lack of talent. They're caused by lack of structure. Artists don't lose their masters because they're not talented. They lose them because they don't understand structure. Here's the fire lesson: scale versus ownership. That was the purpose, advanced thinking. Lesson example. I told you already, 100% of 10,000, 40, 20% of 100 million, 80,000. The core truth: scale multiplies money faster than ownership percentage. When 100% ownership wins, when you scale your catalog repeatedly, you control the distribution, your music compounds over time. 100% of small is still small, but a piece of massive can change your life. Ownership matters because it gives long-term leverage. Scale matters because it creates immediate impact. Control matters because it turns both of those into money. The smartest position is not always own everything at any cost. Oh, I have to own everything. That's the smartest position. No. The smartest position is own what you can, control what you must, negotiate what you cannot own, attach yourself to opportunities that move, never confuse paperwork with execution, never confuse exposure with ownership, and never confuse funding with rights. That was deep, but I'm going to say it again. Own what you can, control what you must, negotiate what you cannot own. Attach yourself to opportunities that move. You're in the music business. Your music needs to move. Never confuse paperwork with execution. Paperwork is the start. That doesn't mean that they're going to do it. You have to hold them to the paperwork. Never confuse exposure with ownership. Never confuse funding with rights. This is the fire lesson. The music business is not just about who creates the song. It is about who owns it, who controls it, who moves it, and who gets paid when it works. Again, Fire Nation, ownership equals to long-term leverage. Scale equals to immediate impact. Control equals to monetization power. This is my insight. Ownership gives you rights, yes, but scale will give you value. Control turns that value into money. So the goal is not just to own your music. That's important, yes, fine. But it's to own, control, and position so that it can move. Right? Ownership by itself is not magic. Ownership is an asset. That's facts. But an asset only becomes valuable when it's activated, when it's monetized, and when it's protected, and when it's moved through the right channels. If you don't even have access to this, what are you going to do? Especially when people start to lock you out. They when they start to complain about the system. No, you know what? You weren't smart. You didn't think about who's actually pulling the strings. And in every industry, that's going to happen. It's facts. I'm just telling you the truth. It's business. You have to understand it if you're going to play the game. Don't be a pawn. You're the one with the talent. Because 100% ownership of a song nobody hears, it might feel empowering, like great, I own 100% of the song. But financially, it may not move your life forward. Here's the strategic shift. Meanwhile, 20% of a global record opens doors, it creates royalties, it raises your booking fees, it builds your credibility, put your name into rooms that you couldn't enter before. So here's the core question. It's not how much do I own, it's how much can this go? Because music money is not only about percentage, it's about percentage multiplied by reach. There are real cases where owning 100% is better play. I told you that. If you can scale your own catalog repeatedly, right? If an artist can consistently release music and he build an audience and get steady streams across many songs, then ownership becomes powerful, right? But then there's the catalog machine. One small song may not be a massive hit, but if you have like over 200 or 100 own songs that creating money every month, that is a catalog machine that becomes a money making machine for you. That's where ownership becomes serious. Not because one song exploded, but because the artist built a catalog that compound interest. Right? So what you get from that, the key career gains that you get, right? When you get more reach, you get more followers, more leverage in negotiation, you get more radio interest, more media attention, more cultural relevance, more demand for future releases. So if you look at the big picture, even the artist owns less of that one record, that record can increase the value of their entire career. It's facts. It's a business model argument. Okay? That's why it's not a simple ownership argument. It's a business model argument. How are you making money? How is it flowing? Are you getting the most for what you're putting out at this time? Listen to me. If you take nothing else from tonight, take this. Don't just chase ownership until you understand what you're owning. And don't just chase masters. Understand how they move. Okay? Because the biggest mistake artists make is thinking the goal is to own music. No, the goal is to position your music so it can't be ignored. That's the goal. You need to get your music out there. People need to hear about it. If that's what you want. If that's not what you want, then okay, fine. You make it's a hobby. It's not a career. It's fine to have a nice hobby. I have hobbies that I'm good at, right? But it's not my career. So make up your mind.
So basically, you're